TV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Monday's news. Several high school students and locals have been shot by Indonesian security forces this morning in Wamena in the Central Highlands of the West Papua region following a crackdown by police and military. The number of those killed has not been confirmed. Also this morning, students at the Chandrawasih faced off with security forces at a demonstration that later turned violent. This is the latest in a wave of anti-racism, pro-independence protests in the West Papua region.
According to reports out of Wamena this morning, these high school students protested over another instance of racial abuse in their own school. Within a space of a few hours, the students' protests had extended into the community. Police and military were deployed to disperse the crowd. Shots were fired. And then, as more eyewitness videos and images were sent out, it became clear that students had also been shot by security forces. It's not clear if there are any deaths in the Wamena protest, but Victor Yemo of the West Papuan activist group, the KNBP, has called for the UN to intervene.
So, we urge Indonesian government, please, to stop using Indonesian militia to against the people of West Papua. This is peaceful action by the student because they have been treated like animals in Indonesia.
Closer to the PNG border, hundreds of police and soldiers were deployed to the Chandrawasih University in Jayapura as students began another week of pro-independence protests.
Semuanya harus bersatu. Iya, semua bersatu. Harus bersatu, harus damai. Kita semua bersatu, kita masuk dalam pemilihan ngalah. Iya, betul. Amin ya? Iya, amin. Amin.
Students who were gathering in front of the university auditorium posted live videos on Facebook, reported that police and military had surrounded the university and were ordering them to end the gathering. Hours later, that situation also deteriorated, with police and soldiers shooting at West Papuan demonstrators.
Students shot dead by Indonesian police and TNI. And in Jayapura, it's still not confirmed because Indonesian militia, they brought knife and all the gun come out from their house and they attack to the people. So until today we cannot identify the victims of the student.
What has been of concern is the role of Indonesian militia supported by security forces, who have clashed on several instances over the last month with West Papuan student protesters. In August, there were reports that Indonesian security forces had reportedly shot dead 6 people in the Dai Regency in Indonesia's Papua province. The shots were fired by police at about 3 p.m. PNG time on the 28th of August, and by 5 p.m., reports from Dai Regency said shots were still being fired at the crowd of protesters. Communities across the Pacific, Australia and New Zealand have also expressed support, calling on the Indonesian government to exercise restraint. Members of the Free West Papua campaign in Port Moresby have also expressed their support by protesting against the Indonesian government. Papua New Guineans are also calling on a strong stance of West Papua from their own government. And only 2 weeks ago, hundreds took to the streets of Papua New Guinea's capital, Port Moresby, to march in solidarity as the push for West Papua freedom gains momentum. National Capital District Governor Powes Pakop saying the march was to create awareness on the 57-year conflict, as well as to draw international attention on West Papua's struggle for independence and against human rights abuses.
We all stood up today to say to Indonesia that you will never silence our people.
This morning's protest comes as United Nations member countries prepare for the UN General Assembly in New York. Jeremy Moggy, National TV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has confirmed that he would not be speaking at the United Nations General Assembly as there were important issues at hand domestically. The Prime Minister instead sending the Foreign Affairs Minister and Environment Minister to represent PNG. With the United Nations General Assembly taking place, major issues like West Papua, China-Taiwan relations and climate change